Hello, Kriegspielers. It's Umpire LaFondios, and I'm doing a response video to the discussion that occurred on the Kriegspiel podcast yesterday. The topic was LordHugs' attack during the recent live Saturday, and I wanted to add some additional thoughts on obeying orders because that also came up on the Discord stream. At about the 51-minute mark on the Kriegspiel podcast, and I encourage you to go and listen to the entire thing as well as this portion, there was a discussion of LordHugs' attack. And the attack was part of the Saturday game, and it occurred at a time that was not in the plan. So the discussion was about the summary of this action, and I apologize to all involved if I get any of the facts incorrect. The blue outnumbered the red, and LordHugs was on the red side. The higher level commander wanted LordHugs to attack in order for the reserve of the blue to deploy west to counter LordHugs' attack or to assist in stopping LordHugs' attack, so that the red forces in the east could prosecute an attack successfully without having to worry about the reserve hitting them. So the idea behind the attack was to have the reserve move to the west. LordHugs triggered the attack one turn before it was supposed to go in. The higher level commanders expected it to happen at one turn, and he did it a turn early. And the higher level commanders didn't know what was going on and spent time trying to figure out why this attack was going early. So the discussion on the podcast went along these 5 lines. LordHugs said, I just wanted to crack a few eggs to get the omelet made. He was taking the initiative to get things moving. He also made the point that the attack worked. The reserve did move. The counter to that from his commander and others was that the orders were not followed. There was a timing for the attack, and he kicked the attack off early. And he made the point there was only one turn early. And then there was a discussion about consequences for following orders or not following orders. And that's a frothy discussion that I highly recommend you go listen to yourself because a lot of great points were made. Master player Achilles got a gold star, in my opinion, by making this point in that discussion. He said, you can exercise initiative as a player within the boundaries of the plan. And I have boundaries in parentheses because I can't remember the exact word that he used. So I would add, this is my response to that statement and the rest of the discussion. And my thought is to add to the discussion, not to refute anything that was said there. I say using Kriegspiel speech. And this is how we speak in the Kriegspiel world. So if you're not a member, you would need to learn to speak this way before you can play. I say, thou speakest wisely, Master Achilles. I would add that the plan must allow for initiative. So let's talk about what that means. And I'm going to take and present an entirely different scenario because I don't want you to map my comments onto LordHugs' situation. Let's set that situation aside and move on to the idea of initiative within a plan or a set of orders. And this is the magic of commander's intent. And people talk about commander's intent, but they often don't explain why it's so important. So let's take a similar situation, but different. And so let's say that the red commander gives this order to the subunit commander who have, the red higher level commander gives this order to the subunit commanders who are on the board that you see. The higher level commander says, I will give you artillery at 9 a.m. You will attack the blue at 9 a.m. in order to take and hold the road junction. So the implied element of that timing is that this red player is going to get additional resources. That's why the timing is what it is. But the timing is only one part of a larger intent, and that's to take the road junction. So let's say that that red player sees at 8:30, he gets information that in fact the blue forces have spread out a bit and the road junction is only partially defended. That red player can then take the initiative and say, I'm going to save that artillery battery, the trouble of firing for me. I'm going to take that road junction by pushing the blue out of the way, and I know I can do this. I'm taking the initiative based on this opportunity that's been shown to me. He can then report to higher headquarters, I have achieved your intent with less resource expended. give me the next set of orders, boss, and they can be great friends because mission is accomplished. But let's take the opposite situation. Let's say that the situation is not advantageous and that red player just decides, I just feel like attacking. I'm bored. My umpire isn't very interesting. I've got lunch coming up, so I want to get things going. The egg I want to crack is just my own itch that I want to scratch. So the red player launches the attack without the artillery. The blue reserve comes down and joins the line, and it's just a bloodbath for the red, and the intent is not achieved. In that case, this player was not exploiting an opportunity. They were just kicking things off, and they didn't achieve the intent. They didn't take advantage of the artillery. And this player will probably not be invited back as a subunit commander in future games because they're just not helping win the battle. So this is how intent is that fulcrum upon which you can tell whether or not you're achieving what you need to achieve for the commander. And so the conversation can move from the details like you attack at 9, or you get the artillery at 9, or you need to move a mile up this road or a kilometer down that road, etc. And it can move to the service of your orders in the creation of outcomes that make the intent happen. So it clarifies the conversation about following orders and following the commander's intent. That's why if you want to keep your friends in Kriegspiel, you want to know that commander's intent helps you keep friends, as says the Field Marshal. I hope this was helpful. I hope it added some value to the conversation. We'll see you all out there on the board.